So your screen may flicker slightly, and then you should now have in front of you Welcome to Sage One Payroll, including real-time information. So my name is Liz, and it's my pleasure to spend the next roughly 45 minutes taking you through the benefits of Sage One Payroll for your clients and also for your practice. If you do have any questions during today's session, please use the chat panel. And if I don't manage to come to the questions during the session, I will respond to them at the end. So the aim of today's session is to give you an overview of Sage One and then to look at Sage One Payroll in some more detail. You'll find out how to get set up as a Sage One accountant so that you can invite your clients to Sage One Payroll. And I'll take you through how simple the software is in action and how easy it makes complying with RTI. Once you've seen how easy it is to use, I'll remind you of your next steps following today's presentation. And then in return for today's free webinar, all I ask is for just 2 minutes of your time at the end to provide me with some feedback on my session today. So there may be some of you in the session that haven't had any experience of Sage One before, so we'll just do a quick overview of Sage One. And I hope by the end of today's session you'll be able to tell me what Sage One is. So Sage One is a completely online accounts and payroll software for small businesses, and it's perfect for a lot of freelancers and sole traders. Because it's online, you and your clients can access online accounts and payroll anywhere and at any time from any internet-enabled device, be that a laptop, PC, Apple device, mobile phone or tablet. And you and your clients can be rest assured that with Sage, we're here to help anytime, day or night. So all of Sage One online accounting payroll services come with free telephone support from our UK-based contact centre, and we offer that 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, so even Christmas Day, when your small business clients need it most. And because we know that keeping control of costs is obviously important to your small business clients, then Sage One is available on an affordable monthly subscription. So there are 4 variants of Sage One. Sage One Accountant Edition lets accountants manage and collaborate with their clients online. Extending the reach of your practice by using cloud accounting services means that you can work with your clients all over the UK. Sage One Cashbook. So for only £5 a month, this is an online cash-based accounting system for sole traders to keep organised for HMRC and the bank. And then we have also Sage One Accounts, still at a very reasonable £10 a month. This is an online accounting service for small business owners who don't have time to learn accounting. I also run a separate session on Sage One Accounting on a Wednesday at 1 PM, and I'll send you a link to this to book on after today's session if you haven't already attended that session. And then managing from 5 employees at £5 per month up to 15 employees for £15 a month, we have Sage One Payroll. It's a simple online payroll service that's RTI ready and easy to use, even if your client has no previous payroll knowledge. And we'll come and look at payroll in a wee bit more detail just shortly. So how do you as an accountant or a bookkeeper get access to Sage One? So as an accountant or a bookkeeper, Sage are offering you the Accountant Edition absolutely free of charge. All you have to do is to phone us, Sage Accountants Division, on the 0845 111 1111 number. And if you're an existing customer, your account manager will be able to set you up there and then. Otherwise, we'll need some business and bank details, and then you'll also be ready to go. So once you're set up, you simply go to the Sage 1 homepage and log in with your email address and password. You'll then be able to invite your clients to Sage 1 for accounting, payroll, or both. And there is integration between both the payroll and the accounting offerings as well. You'll be invoiced a month in arrears, and the clients are not tied into a long-term contract. So for example, if a client uses Sage 1 Payroll for 10 employees in April, you'll be invoiced £10 in May. Your other option is to join the Sage 1 referral programme. This allows your clients to be invoiced directly. So please just let us know when you call in what option you would prefer. And if a new business comes along onto the Sage 1 site, thinking of starting to use Sage 1, then there's a good chance that they're also looking for a Sage 1 accountant. So once you're set up for Sage 1 Accountant Edition, you will be able to set up your own practice profile in our new Find a Sage 1 Accountant directory. So if I just click onto this link just now, it will take us directly onto the Sage 1 site. And you'll see on there, UK-sage1.com, find an accountant. And that link is directly from the front page of the Sage 1 site. So it's a very obvious link. Businesses can filter by service. So they might have something particular that they want to find an accountant or a bookkeeper that can offer them. Or they may simply just want to work with a more local firm. So I'm sure you can tell by my accent. If I filter it by Scotland, you can see that at the moment there are only 3 practices set up. And that's purely because this is a relatively new directory that was only launched in November of last year. So the sooner you get on there, the more chance you are of generating some new clients from that free advertising space as well. And if you already have a website, then obviously you'll be wanting to take advantage of the link so that clients can link directly onto your website from there and generate you some more business. Now we'll have a look at Sage 1 Payroll in some more detail. We'll start with an overview of real-time information, or RTI for short. So RTI, it's only 2 months away, and a lot of small businesses actually won't even realise it before it's too late. So tell clients to keep an eye on their post. They should be expecting an imminent communication in February directly from HMRC to let them know about RTI and how to operate it within their own business. RTI is an HMRC initiative to improve the accuracy of PAYE, reducing the need to send out corrections for overpayment or underpayment, and reducing the possibility of fraud. The main reason for the introduction of RTI is also to connect directly with the new universal credit system, which will be coming in later this year. So RTI is the biggest change to the PAYE system since 1944, and it affects every single business in the UK that pays their employees through the PAYE system. Under RTI, employers will be required to submit information electronically via the internet to HMRC on or before the point that they pay their employees, instead of just once a year. So fundamentally, the process of paying employees remains pretty much the same as it is today. The only difference is you will need to submit information electronically to HMRC for PAYE, NIC and student loans every time you pay your employees. The great news under RTI is that you will no longer be required to submit the complex and time-consuming P35 and P14 payroll year-end returns. The process of taking on new employees and leavers is also streamlined, where you're no longer required to submit a P46 or P45 to HMRC. You should still, however, continue to provide any leavers with a paper copy of their P45 and also accept a P45 from a new starter. So how will Sage 1 Payroll help your clients be ready for RTI. We are confident that Sage One Payroll will guarantee your clients a simple and straightforward RTI compliance experience. Internet software means you don't have to install anything, and you can access the Sage One Payroll information from a PC, Mac, mobile or tablet anytime or anywhere you want to. Sage One Payroll is available from as little as £1 per employee per month. It comes at a low cost and doesn't involve any long-term contracts. We're here to help whenever you need us, and it's possible to run your payroll in less than 5 minutes. You've got to love that. So let me show you how. So we'll move on to the demonstration of Sage One itself. So we're now on to the Sage One site. So you can see there the summary of the different options that are available at £5, £10 and £15 per month. I'll just come up to the top right hand corner and I will sign in. So I'll sign in as an accountant so that everything that you see on the screen today, it will be exactly the same when you get set up for Sage One yourself. And you can see in here that I have a few clients already set up, and one of my clients I also do payroll for them. So I simply click into there, and you can now see that I'm in the client Liz Cash Book, and you get a nice summary of the client's details from here. So you get their financial details and their payroll details, when their next weekly pay run is and when their next monthly pay run is due. There are also notes, so there's an area that you can create notes in here. And your client will be able to see those notes at their end as well when they log in. Today we're obviously going to be concentrating on the payroll side. So if I come up into log into service, I can log into payroll or log in as client. So client lets me see it from their point of view, or log into payroll is just from my point of view. So when they log in, they'll obviously have two big buttons, one for accounts and one for payroll. But for today's purposes, we'll just go straight into payroll. And you can see when you come in here, it's a simple 4-tabbed view of your client's payroll. We've got a nice summary screen that highlights the current payroll activities. We have our weekly pay run with 3 employees ready to be paid, and our monthly pay run with 1 employee. We also have our HMRC RTI scheme. It tells us what quarter we're on at the moment, and that we've successfully joined the pilot, because it's only the pilot that's available just now, because nobody can do RTI for real until April onwards. And then we also have an FPS submission, which we'll come on to shortly. We have our Pay tab. So this is the pay runs area, and it allows you to process the weekly and monthly pay. And you can also review or edit a previous pay run in this screen as well. So it's very easy to see what the latest pay run is that you've done and what date. We've got the employees area. So when you start using Sage One for payroll, you can come in and create employees. So you, as the accountant, can do that for them, or you can leave it up to the client to do it themselves. And then we also have the year-end tab. And you can choose the year-end that you want to report on. the employee pay values for the tax year on the P11 reports, and the EPS, the employer payment submissions, can be viewed in there for RTI purposes. So what we'll do at this point, we've had a quick overview of each of those screens. So we'll come back to the summary screen. So what happens as part of RTI is there's 4 different types of submissions that are new with RTI. The one that we'll do most often is a full payment submission, which it mentions down here. And that just lets you generate it in the document which is available for HMRC for their computer systems. And the full payment submission is a submission that gets processed automatically by Sage One Payroll every time you do a pay run, which we'll come on to in a moment. Prior to that, you've also got the employer alignment submission. And the employer alignment submission is a one-off submission that happens the first time you do an RTI submission. So with Sage One Payroll, it's something that you don't need to do manually, so that's why you won't see it referred to within Sage One at all. It's something that happens automatically when you do your first full payment submission, which is just forms part of your normal weekly or monthly pay runs. So we'll go on and do our weekly pay run, and then I'll let you see how easy it is to process payroll within Sage One. So it's a 4-step process for doing the payroll for the week. Getting started, recording absences, editing the pay, and confirming the pay. So simply just confirm the pay date for week 46. So if it's anything different, you just click on the date and you select the date that you actually want to run the payroll for. Click on to next. So we're now on to step 2, where we record any absences. So at this point it brings up a tab for each of the employees, and you can at that point add in any absence for them. What you can also do at this stage is create an employee. So you don't have to go into this tab to set up employees, you can create employees on the way through as well. To create a new employee, you simply add in the forename, surname, date of birth. Now please make sure that you use accurate dates of birth because it's very important for RTI purposes. How often you want to pay them, whether it's weekly or monthly, their works number, the start date, how it is that they're going to be paid, if they're a director, and the preferred calculation method for their national insurance. And then if the employee brings a P45 with them, you would simply click onto there and then you would select the category, the statement that is applicable for that employee. If it's a P46, then again, if it's unknown, you would just select as much information as you know about that employee. So you've got all of your employees in here down the left hand side. You can add in an absence. So that could either be maternity or paternity, adoption or sickness. So you just choose the relevant option. If there's been any documentation received from that employee, then you would say yes, and then you would choose the date of the absence. So you can see that Heather was on sick leave for 1 day on the 13th of February. As easy as that, you click on to next, and then you edit the pay amounts for that week. So again, it's just a tabbed system, so you work through each of your employees one at a time. So we can see that what happens is once you've put in details for the employee in the first week, it will just retain that and roll it forward on a week by week basis. So if Heather actually worked a different number of hours this week, you would simply click into the box and enter the number of hours that she worked, and it would calculate that. You can add in different types of payment, and the different types of payment we have in here are ones that I've just set up for this business, the Liz Cashbook business. And at any point you can add a new payment as well. So you can choose what category the payment's going to fall into, and then you select the type, and then you click on to save. So if there's anything applicable, then you can put in that as well for that employee. The deductions will be worked out automatically. It's just that this employee hasn't worked enough hours yet to have to pay PAYE or NI. And it will retain all that information, so it's not expecting you to tally up these amounts. It will automatically start deducting when it is due for this employee. And then you would just click onto your next. So Eric did 5 hours consultancy last week, so it's expecting him to do 5 again this week. It could be that you only did 1 hour this week, so you just adjust that. And then Laura is marked as a director, so we just remain her. She does 20 hours most weeks, so we just leave that as that. And then if she does have any student loan deductions, stakeholder pensions, or you can add in new deductions there as well, then you would just click on the relevant deduction for that element. And if you've added in something by mistake, it is very easy to edit it. You do appear with a cross button beside that where you can amend it. And if for some reason this employee is not getting paid in a certain week, you can just simply click onto the box do not pay, and they won't form part of your normal pay run. Click on to next at that point. And now we're at the 4th stage of our weekly pay run, and you can have information displayed in a detailed report about how the figures were calculated. If you want to see your detailed payroll report, then you can simply click on to there and you'll see the nice breakdown by employee, and then you'll also get the payment summary by the different types. Deductions, employer costs, HMRC totals, employees paid by cash, and employees paid by cheque and by bank transfer. So if you're happy with that, you can view the pay slips at this point in time, but they will still be draft because the pay run hasn't been completed. So we'll wait and view the pay slips once they've actually been run. So if we click on to complete pay run, what it's warning you here is that it wants you to confirm the pay values. If you're satisfied that the current pay values are correct, you simply click on to confirm. And what will happen is the staff payments will actually be automatically posted over to Sage 1 accounts. Because Liz Cashbook uses Sage 1 to do our bookkeeping and produce our accounts as well, then the payment information will be directly posted over there. So that will be a nice time saver for her. And then also the full payment submission, which is one of the new RTI submissions, that's transferred to HMRC automatically as well. I have my login details saved here, and that's just the Government Gateway username and password. If you put them in once, it will retain them on an ongoing basis. Simply click on to confirm. And then it will contact the Government Gateway, and you'll see a nice pop-up down the bottom that the staff payments have been created successfully, and you can now view that transaction within my bank activity within Sage accounts. So as I said before, we'll come back and look at the pay slips now that we've actually processed the pay run. So for Heather, Eric and Laura, they all have individual pay slips, or I've got the option to look at all pay slips and print them all off. And you get a very nice layout. I minimise that slightly and see what it looks like. So it's all set up so the address will appear within a windowed envelope, and it's all set up so that you can just print that directly onto headed paper or however you would like to print that out. And then there's a pay slip for each of my employees that form part of that normal pay run. Okay, so my FPS submission failed basically because I'm not online to the government gateway. I hope I'm not anyway. But you can, it would happen automatically obviously with your accurate government gateway details. And at any point you can come in and view your P32 employer payment record as well. I'll just minimise that slightly so you get a better view of that as well. So you get an overview of each of the different categories within there. You see a breakdown of the amounts, and then you get a nice pay trends graph appearing as well. If you had to change anything, you can go back and edit the pay run as well. So you can make amendments. So say for example Heather Bird, the business expenses were actually £20 rather than 10. We just click on to next. And then view the summary again. So you now see that Heather's business expenses have been changed to £20. So with RTI, there's no need to reprocess that same period. What will happen is that adjustment will just get reflected in the subsequent pay run. If you want to be able to see the account side of things, we'll come on and have a look at that shortly. We've looked at employees already, so from a year-end point of view, the tax year we want to report on is the current year, and the P11 values for the employees can be accessed by clicking on the P11 link to create your P11 report, which is an 8-page report. So there's Heather's P11 deductions for PAYE, for NIC, shown us. So these are all just PDF documents, so they're very easy to just save directly to your system. And then we also have our employer payment summary as well, which is a submission that you do as an employer to HMRC every month or every quarter, depending how often you would normally submit. If you click onto the Submit EPS, because this is the one that runs just up until the year end, you do have some specific questions that you need to answer. So did you make any tax-free payments? Did anyone else pay expenses? Anyone outside the UK? Paid any employees pay to someone other than the employee? Service company? Declared that forms P11D are not due, and the company has ceased trading. Click on to next at that point, and then what Sage One Payroll will ask for at this point is the year-to-date balances for any NIC holiday compensation, CIS deductions suffered, amount of advances received from HMRC, and total recovery and compensation for statutory payments. So the total amount will appear in there. You click on to next, and then again it's retained the HMRC login details, and then you click on to submit at the end. And then that runs through and contacts the government gateway, and it submits your employer payment summary to there. And then that's the third type of RTI submission that comes into effect in April. And the fourth one is what's called a National Insurance Verification Request. And within Sage One Payroll, this is actually done automatically. So to give you an example of that, we would look at an employee. So if you have an employee that starts working and you don't know their NI number, then what you would do is you would leave that area in there completely blank, and then automatically Sage One Payroll would go and check what the accurate NI number is for that employee based on all of the other information that you've provided. And then they would simply send back the notification electronically of the number that's accurate and embed it within that employee's record. So it's a nice new feature that comes into effect with RTI in April as well. So you don't need to use any temporary NI numbers, you simply just leave it blank and Sage One Payroll will automatically generate a national insurance verification request for that employee for you. For this employee, we can also look at their working pattern. So when you set them up, you can set up either a standard working pattern, Monday to Friday, or you can customise it if they only work certain days a week as well. So that's a summary of processing their payroll. So now if we jump back into their records, but this time we'll log into their accounts. So if we go into the reports, and then if we just look at their trial balance, for example, we've got wages and staff costs. So if we click onto there, you can see the staff costs that have been processed, and then you can also go back and see the amounts that have been processed through the bank as well. So that gives you an overview of actually processing Sage One Payroll within the software itself. So I hope it's given you some reasons to love Sage One Payroll, but here's just a reminder of some of them. It's an online payroll service so that your clients can process their payroll anytime and anywhere, even if they use a Mac, a tablet or on their phone. It's always up to date with the latest legislation, and updates actually happen automatically so that there are no updates to download manually. It's RTI ready at the moment, so the switchover couldn't be easier. And you can print off their payslips quickly with no need for payroll stationery. We'll do the sums, so there's no need for manual calculations. And it's a small monthly subscription with no contract. You can increase or decrease your subscription to match your employee count. And it fully integrates with Sage One Cashbook and Sage One accounts. And remember that you also get free 24/7 support over the phone from our UK support centres, so that we're there whenever you need us most. So what's next? So hopefully you now have a good understanding of Sage One Payroll and enough knowledge to be able to recommend it as a good RTI solution for your clients. So you can give us a call to set up your own free copy of Sage One Accountants Edition. If you've not already done so, please let your clients know about the importance of RTI. Let your clients and prospects know what you can offer to help them comply with RTI. and send them out our 5-step guide to loving payroll with Sage 1, which I made available before today's session. If you're interested in running an RTI seminar at your own practice, please do let your Sage account manager know. Just to let you know, I also run a Sage 1 accounting webinar, and I will send you an email after today's session with instructions on how to book on to see how easy we make the online bookkeeping side of things. So in return for this free webinar today, all I ask is for 2 minutes of your time to provide me with your feedback on today's session.